the Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
JJ, Jeff, you want to kick this thing off? Because I'm still trying to process everything here.
Yeah, it's like,
who wants to go first?
Yeah, who wants to go first?
Well,
Come on in. It's open mic night with your host.
you could maybe say there's really 4 topics, but it's split into 6.
The Renegade, JJ Williams.
The Sammy and Eddie Kingston thing, which one's the better smelling turd?
And his panel of co-hosts.
I am the founder. We'll call me that for today since we're going with the Jeff Jarrett love theme here this week, according to JJ.
The West Coast Professor, Jeff Meacham.
Karma is karma is karma.
That's professional wrestling! Damn it!
The Simple Man, Noah Foster.
It's showtime! Yeah! How you doing, JJ? How you doing, Jeff?
James.
Yeah.
And the He-Man, James Hebert.
Imagine Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, Paul White, the Baldies. There you go. It sells itself.
God.
Get in there.
Short his ass and shit the bed.
He's not Amber Heard.
Give it time, JJ. Give it time.
Now, I'm sure Jeff has some stuff that
Dumb move. Just don't pull this bullshit again. You get one.
Tony needs to stop caring about the ratings.
Bradshaw said as long as the ads are in place, we're not going to lose that third hour.
Ring of Honor does not have to be AEW Live. They don't necessarily have to coexist with each other. You kind of saw that tonight to a degree.
Along with a panel of guests.
He is no
longer glorious. Don't you bring that up. You want me to rant about what my NXT used to... No, we are done here for the night. I swear, James.
Because you never know who may show up for open mic night.
I leave our company in the capable hands of an extraordinary group of superstars, employees, and executives.
The first thing that came to my mind was, it's about damn time.
Amen.
I literally touched everybody in the state's trash. So it's horrible, you guys.
Peyton's new thing is Dennis the Menace, but it's funny because she calls it Dentist the Medicine. And
that's great.
When Elliot Taylor came out and did Born for Greatness live, I was popping my pussy, having a great time. I didn't care. I was having so much fun.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Fuck Bill Belichick.
We ended on wrestling, and then you bring in that shit. Then just how the fan goes off the damn rails. Brilliant, bloody brilliant.
We're here. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to this happy hour edition, if we're being honest, of Open Mic Night here across the, obscuring the logo, but it's there, Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media. And to the folks in the chat room commenting about the center image, trust and believe we will get to that topic. That'll be post Resurgence. We're going to be covering, of course, in New Japan Strong Resurgence coming up tonight, beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and we will conclude our shenanigans today with the main event of Open Mic Night. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, hi, I am the West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham, the founder, as is said in that ridiculous intro that we have every single week. I am filling in for the moderator right now. We are we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants here. No script because we had an unexpected situation. So I'm going to go ahead and do a complete opposite of what JD usually does and just bring everybody in at once because that's how I roll today. So Noah Foster is here. One of our core four is always here across the multiverse here on Open Mic Night, joining the returning Big Baller G and, of course, Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz is here as well. And yeah, we've got some topics, no doubt about it. But we definitely are going to get into the ridiculous heckling coming up. That's more of an open mic night topic, like definitely after hours, the after dark stuff, because that was just horseshit what happened on Wednesday, and we will talk about it. But I want to make sure Noah gets a good solid afternoon and evening of calling damn good professional wrestling under his belt before he has to delve into the boo shit, if you will. So, and it will definitely be a main event rant, Walter. Yes, very good. So before we get into any of the topics, before we get into any of that stuff, how the heck are we today? We'll start with Big G, who's happy to be here and happy to be back, dude. How the hell are you, man?
I'm doing okay. We got a lot of wrestling, a lot of topics to discuss. Yes. I told Noah that I'm probably gonna check out New Japan tonight. Give that a chance to see the Japanese style of wrestling. So
very cool.
Other than that, I am doing okay.
I love it. Mr. Reliable, you are here. It is I'm not sure how it is for the East Coast folks or you in Ohio, Noah, but it is already starting to get that summer warm here in SoCal. We are up in the high 80s because Mother Nature has decided to play catch-up ball, the bipolar bitch that she is. How are we doing down there? How are we doing on the East Coast tonight?
Not so well. Yeah, it's cold right now. Mother Nature is a tease. It gave us good weather for the week, and then it was like, I'm going to take it away. It rained, and then it got cold. Like, I'm shaking right now, but it's New England. It's New England, so you can't really complain too much.
It's valid. Noah Foster, I see you during the opening with your notes and all your things for tonight and all things coming up. How are we doing today, sir?
Doing well. I mean, it's Saturday. It feels like the longest day of the week. Very odd day prior to Mother's Day. It's mild and cold and wet and rainy here. Lower 60s. So it's been a week of oscillating weather where it's been warm, bright, sunny, 70s, wet, cloudy, rainy, 50s, 60s. So it's still trying to figure it out here in the Midwest. But overall, I'm doing well. Finally got one huge obstacle ahead to overcome after this last month. So my head's in a lot clearer space. And as far as this main event tonight, like I said, we'll spin that wheel when we get there. And whether or not I'm awake or conscious or even vocal, it all depends. But I'm looking very forward to once again engaging in professional wrestling delight with all of you here. And it's good to see y'all.
As the moderator would usually say, it's good to be seen. Let me just say this. Since I highly doubt, and I could be wrong, your moms could be more supportive and actually watching this crazy shit that we do on Saturday. Mine doesn't. She chooses not to partake because she's got sanity left in her world. God bless her for that. But what do you guys in your family lives have planned for your Mother's Day for tomorrow? What's going on tomorrow? Whether it's for your significant other, if you have one, if they're a mother already, for your actual mom, for your grandmother, mother in the family. What's going on tomorrow? I mean, I know you probably can't talk very well because you're in an open space and she's right there. So
oh no, it's fine. She's sitting right next to me. No, okay. I'm gonna be calling my mom tomorrow in Germany, and then we got church tomorrow, and then I think we're doing something with her parents for Mother's Day. So probably going out to dinner or lunch-ish, early dinner.
I love it. Walter, what about you, sir? Hello, Colleen, by the way.
Not that much. I work. But yeah, I've been hanging out with my mother all week, going places and spending money. So it's like, just give her presents, and that's about it. So yeah. And then mine's easy. My wife just wants, as long as I present her with seafood, she's good. She's like the cat happy in Jeff's arms right now.
Dude, say like my mom. My mom specifically asked me last night. She was like, "All right, I'm having Dad bring me home a dessert from." Whatever the hell she said, do you want something? I said, Mom, you know me. I'm good with something Reese's-y or a cheesecake. Like I'm good. Like I don't need nothing. It's not my day. Like that's in June. Although my day is coming up in two Fridays from now, May 24th, when I'm back at Disneyland for the first time in the park since I got let go. That's my holiday. I'll tell you that shit right now. No, we know Mama Foster is so important to you in your life on the regular. She is the glue that holds that place together. What are you guys doing tomorrow?
Yeah, it's one of those things also where I'm basically the adhesive that helps keep her mind in sync too. So it's a 50-50 system. Again, protect your mentality, support your families. We've already kind of kicked things off today. I got her stuffed French toast from a diner. We enjoyed that quite thoroughly. And then tomorrow we'll probably go out for dinner. My little brother apparently has got something planned for her. And then besides that, just flowers. And she's simple. Amazon gift card. And she's happy. So each of us, me, my brother, my sister, are going to contribute towards that to give her something to show how much we appreciate her. As far as my sister goes, she's a mother in her own right. So I figured that my niece and my nephew will do something nice for her, as I feel anybody should at least, consider, if nothing else, say thank you, whether you're distant from them, whether they're not with you, whether you disagree with them. They are part of the reason that you exist today. So again, treasure your families. Always appreciate at least one side that brought you into this crazy family called life. So in advance, happy Mother's Day to all mothers. God bless them.
Yeah. I'm not going on the air tomorrow. So because this is my mom's Sunny D that I keep in the fridge here in the studio, and it's not just a Sunny D, here's to Mom. There you go. There we go.
My problem is you guys are my Facebook friends, so you saw the personal stuff I did. It's like I can't top last year. I got her a brand new car.
That's valid.
I can't top it. So it's like even she knows it. Like once you went there, I can't top it. It's like,
not about topping, it's about being consistent. But I do get what you're saying.
Topping it's not the key. Noah's got it right, consistency. But I definitely miss the days where we could just make her a paper card and go, here, Mom, and they look. It's like, nah, you're 41. Get me fucking something. Like seriously, script. But it's all good. You mentioned your niece, your sister's children. Before we get into the topics, because we for the record, we're stretching like a mucker further till JJ gets here to actually talk about the topics. But something popped to my mind since you mentioned both your mom's meal and your niece, your sister's children. So I've not been quiet about the fact that I'm going back to Disneyland 2 Fridays from now to see Fantasmic. And for those of you that have been to a Disney park, part of the arrangement they have now at the parks for the parades or the shows, whatever, is they have the dining packages that go along with it, especially at Disneyland and Disney World. So Fantasmic for years had 3 different packages you could choose from, and I kept not seeing them on the website or the online queue to reserve. It's like, all right, man, we're 2 weeks out. What are we doing here? And my cast member friends who were still there and who are no longer there kept warning me, you got to stay on top of it. You're going to get asked out. Sure enough, I did. But the only package they have left available now is at the Blue Bayou, which for those of you that aren't aware of the Blue Bayou's existence, it's the restaurant contained inside the Pirates of the Caribbean ride in Disneyland. It's you see the restaurant seating area as you're gliding along the bayou there before you go down the drop and into the true ride itself. The thing is, they want $89 a person for these reservations now. Now, I get inflation, I get Disney, like I work there, I know how it goes. But $89 a person, I'm like, I'm just gonna go get my scooter and go up to talk to the Plaid people and go, I need to sit in this section because I can't sit at the restaurant because you didn't allow me to have the River Bell Terrace anymore. So I'm not going to eat at the Bayou and pay $89 for this big a menu and it's seafood and then have to go out and find a spot to sit later. That's bullshit. So this coming Monday, the 13th, is actually Fantasmic's true anniversary. 32 years this year. Golly. I ordered the ingredients from Walmart for my grocery shopping for the River Bell Terrace's pulled pork sandwich combo. I've got literally pulled pork mac and cheese in a Marie Callender's box, freaking kettle chips, and the makings of a Mississippi mud pie in the refrigerator for a drink. Like I am going cheap ghetto on this because damn it, I want my Disney food however I can get it. So just hearing you say French toast, because the best food I've had so far at Disney in the time that I was employed and then since I've left, if anybody ever comes to Disneyland, or I don't know if they have it at Disney World for you guys in the East that have been at Disney World itself, at the Cafe Orleans here, they have that Monte Cristo sandwich. Oh my God. Like I felt like I had discovered a whole new reality of Disney dining when I had that sandwich. So can't recommend that enough. Be prepared to pay a little bit. It's Disney. But anyway.
Oh yeah.
So again, we're going to wait for Jay, but we are going to talk about what happened with Sky and with Rachel Ellerine and with Aubrey. We're going to get to that later at the show, but we also had a lot of AEW news that just really seemed like their TV existence is tenuous at best within Warner Brothers Discovery. And I'm gonna cite the examples first, and I'll run the topic around the room here. I'm 20 minutes in almost. We got to get going. So, first of all, last Saturday, of course, for those of you that missed the multitude of content here across the multiverse, was May the 4th, Star Wars Day. After we had our backlash coverage and our recap show, we went into Star Wars mode. Apparently, Warner Brothers Discovery wanted to do the same thing, because instead of a live collision, which they had the TV rights to, and they helped Tony Khan produce first run content, they used licensed products owned by Disney and ran a Star Wars marathon all day. Now, granted, TNT or TBS has done that every year on May 4th. It's been a tradition. But JJ's thing was, and I kind of agree with him, it's like there are so many properties under the Warner Brothers Discovery umbrella that, yes, it's a special day, but how much faith do you have in your TV partner in AEW if you're going to purposely, do the same old shit you do every year? Are you that not confident in Tony Khan and AEW to garner ratings that, well, we know Star Wars will pop a rating? It's like, I got news for you. Almost everybody I know that's a Star Wars fan either has them all on whatever level of Blu-ray. There's 20K or whatever they sell now, or UHD or whatever the shit they call it, or they're watching on Disney Plus and dealing with the ridiculous edits. One or the other. How can it possibly be about popping a rating? I think it's lack of faith in AEW from Warner Bros. Discovery. That was the first example this week. The other example about Max possibly kind of leaning away from AEW, so Warner Bros. Discovery and AEW, was the fact that what Matthew's saying here, and we did talk about it. The Iron Claw, which is going to be a Max exclusive for at least the first, part of its, run on home video, or whatever you want to call it, or in-home entertainment. I gotta update with the time. It's not just home video anymore because my ass is old. There was an advertisement for it on SmackDown. Now, again, it's the Iron Claw. It's the dramatized story of the Von Erich family. The Von Erichs were a major part of wrestling history, especially Kerry with the WWE when he was there as a Texas Tornado. So I can kind of look the other way with it. But that's two examples in the course of 7 days where Warner Brothers Discovery or a subsidiary of is actively pulling away from strengthening their AEW content. The thing that got me as a sports fan this week, and I know I'm gonna sail, maybe not over Noah's head, but kind of skim his scalp here when I talk about this part. So AEW had Dynamite on Wednesday, and of course Collision and Rampage are tonight. They were in Edmonton on Wednesday, and they're in Vancouver tonight. For you Stanley Cup playoff fans, the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks are playing each other in the second round of the playoffs. They are now, this year's now evened up. Edmonton won on Wednesday. Edmonton blew a lead on Wednesday, so bravo to Vancouver because fuck the Edmonton Oilers. But last night, Edmonton tied the series up, 1 game apiece. My issue with this is Warner Brothers Discovery through TNT and to a lesser extent TBS has been airing NHL games for 2 seasons now. They had to know, based on the records and based on things we're going to lay out, they had to know that they were going to have at least 1 series play in Canada going into first or second round, right? So my issue is, why are they not being more proactive about booking the dates for these shows? If you're booking anything else in a hockey arena between September and June, you run the risk, especially in Canada, you run the risk of bucking religion in that country, especially in Edmonton. Edmonton used to be the greatest hockey team on the planet because they had the greatest score in the history of the game, wearing orange and blue. They have that opportunity again because of the talent they've got on that team. So basically the question that JJ posed, and I'm going to run around the ring. We'll run around the ring. Wow, that's how tired I am already at 5 o'clock. Well, actually, Walter, it's 4:20. That explains a lot here on the West Coast. I'll start with you. Since it's 4:20, I'm going to start with Walter. What the hell?
Damn it.
You knew me, but you knew me going in.
I know.
Don't you dare. You knew this about me. Anyway. Are all these signs indicative of Warner Bros. Discovery going, maybe the people in the dirt sheets are right and this is getting out of hand? Or what say you on this whole topic?
It may be. Hopefully, Tony Khan takes it as a sign to maybe I better put out a better product if they're not having faith in me, and show them why they gave me the contract they gave me and use it as a proving ground, because that's what he needs to do. Because, damn it, how do you pay attention to all the little trolls and everything that happens to you on Twitter where you got time to reply to everything, but you don't pay attention to this in your scheduling, like with the playoffs and everything? You basically did, like, it's almost the equivalent of booking something during the like World Cup in Europe. You don't do that. Like, it's like soccer in Europe is like religion. You don't book anything in Europe during the World Cup. You just don't do it. Or it's like going to Africa during the World Cup. Don't do that. Like, you can't, like.
Yeah, I mean, you notice WWE is still booking in Europe, but they're not booking the arenas or the stadiums that actually are going to have those type of contests going on.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to have a major single sport event in Lyon, France in May. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Now if the Olympics were going to be back in France, in that area, then they go, okay, wait a minute, let's not get ape shit here. But Big G having ties in Europe, that's a valid point that Walter made. But what do you think about all this? I mean, I know you're a fan of Disney, so I know I remember if you're a fan of Star Wars, so forgive me. But okay, you are. Okay, so again, I can put on the Star Wars movies anytime I want and not be like, I'll be entertained, like I'll dig it. But as a wrestling fan, and especially if I'm on the inside, I'm going, hey, wait a minute. These, at best, the most recent entry in that marathon's 5 years old.
Yeah.
As opposed to first run content from AEW. Like that gives me pause.
I in a way, I feel like to like all the Star Wars fans, it's like a national holiday for them. So
it is. I've been at the park.
It's a national holiday.
Shit.
So for me, it's more the movies and the shows. I really don't get into the books and all the cosplay, even though I do have my Jedi robe and my lightsaber and all that stuff. But anyways, going back to that, I feel like Warner Brothers Discovery doesn't really have faith in AEW if they are. But then you got to think about it. Then they've been doing the Star Wars marathon on TNT for the past like 10 plus years, and I feel like.
And I get that, but still.
But still, but then with AEW, I've read, that their collision numbers haven't been all that great, but yet TNT and all of them are still kind of happy with it. So it was kind of weird. And then same thing with the hockey stuff, and sports is like, if they know that like a certain team is going to, I don't know how far in advance they have to book the stadium, because that could be another reason that they don't want to do it. But yeah, it's like you got all these things you got to think about, and you got to think about how Tony Khan thinks about this. And when they call the arenas and stadiums like, hey, we need to book this arena for this show, they're not going to know that way in advance who's going to be in the playoffs.
Well, no, but my counter to that is even if you're in a bad hockey city, like, San Jose, for example,
right.
or Anaheim for that matter.
Right.
No. I'm not booking those arenas because there is the chance.
Exactly.
There's the chance, and I'm not. And again, they're not going to boot them out of the arena. Unlike, hell, the freaking Nuggets did it, which is why the WWE ran the Staples Center that one year. Which
another thing AEW needs to do is consider booking smaller arenas. Now, I don't know how it is in Canada if they only have like certain arenas and that's all they have to book it in. So yeah, then
Right.
I agree with you. But yeah,
Yes.
And then like with the whole thing with Max being on SmackDown yesterday, like we said off air, I think it's just that was purely just for the movie, for the Iron Claw, and it happens to be on Max. And now with Max joining Disney Plus and Hulu in the summertime, it's gonna be, who knows if AEW is ever gonna go to streaming on Max anytime.
Yeah, it's one of those things. The big scuttlebutt prior to WrestleMania last year was, is Disney going to buy WWE? Are they going to go in on that venture? Obviously, it didn't pan out that way. But with Warner Brothers Discovery now partnering up with Disney and Hulu, with the Walt Disney Company, because Disney owns all the other shit besides that. Because they own everything because they're Disney. Sorry, folks, that's the reality of things. I really feel like, at least for me, that might actually help AEW. And I say that because regardless of how much the shine has come off of the brand in the last few years, WWE taking their A show to Netflix is huge for Netflix too. So I think Disney, Hulu, Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max all going under one giant umbrella, I think. And again, I don't know the particulars of that deal. I have to go look at it.
I know.
So it would be one of those. That seems more like those entities shoring up, realizing that Netflix is trying to get back in the game and become the power again. So that's my take on that part of it, but I don't disagree with that. And as far as the Max thing just being a coincidence, it just happened in the same week as the other stuff. So it's just kind of like, Jesus Christ. No, what say you, my friend? I know that's there's a lot of details and I's to dot and T's to cross before everything is finalized and all these deals and all these maneuverings. But what say you on this, sir?
Again, I really don't look that deep into that. I'm like, okay, it's on my screen every week. Good deal. It's one of those things where I think, why would you drop something at the end of the day, but it's going to bring you money? Dropping something like that is still going to probably cost you money. And that's my business take on that. If it's on TV, it's on TV still for a reason, especially when it's fresh content every week, not repeated nonsense. But they definitely need to figure out a streaming deal, especially after what happened with the Revolution fiasco, which is probably why they're pushing their previews now to Triller TV, which I personally appreciate. I would not be surprised if they do finally get a streaming deal together by the end of the year. But as far as, the booking strategy goes and venues, you already see what he's done booking out his entire pay-per-view schedule for the rest of the year. We know locations and dates. So I think it's just one of those things where right now he still, is in his comfort zone and hasn't explored enough yet to bring out the bigger stages where they get their best sellouts to other markets. They're still trying, to build that IP. Saturday wrestling is always going to be Saturday wrestling no matter what you're watching, whether it's Star Wars or some other lame brain movie on TNT or some other nonsense that I don't care about. Sorry, not sorry. I am what I am. Professional wrestling fan only. But, it is one of those things where, again, you got to consider progression. You only could stay in comfort and contentment for so long before you have to start pushing the needle. So I do think pushing out to different markets in smaller venues is a great first experiment approach. Not only to bring professional wrestling out further, but to also bring out the potential of your product further. But it is one of those things where I do think change needs to happen sooner rather than later, more with the weekly product than what they're doing on a pay-per-view front. Because at least now with pay-per-views, you got more flexible market choices to purchase it. But I am holding out for a streaming service this year. I might actually invest in HBO Max if they actually get on there. I've been praying it. Eric's been begging for it. Shout out to HW family. For the longest time. So it's just a matter of where, when, and what. But again, to drop something like that after you already had it going so far since 2019, I feel it will still only hurt TNT a little bit versus it actually being a savings for them. So I don't think they're in any danger, but I do think there needs to be a sense of caution and a need for improvement.
Yes, Walter.
It's funny that we're asking him to venture out into smaller places and then open more markets, but it's the same company that booked Chicago 20 times in a year. So, we really don't know about
no.
venturing out.
No, and so I'm gonna run this back the opposite direction. We'll start with Noah because, again, I did not get a chance to watch a lot of Dynamite just because I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off Wednesday. I haven't had a chance to go back and watch it on replay or whatever you want to call it, on demand. We were calling after what happened last week and the creative being what it was over the course of the AEW week. Did they improve enough and Noah, I'll start with you on this. Like I said, did they hit a better mark Wednesday night with what seemed to me like an overabundance of the EVPs being involved and a lot more talking than I've noticed in reports I've read. A lot more of the gaga than there usually is with AEW. Did they improve in your eyes compared to last week? Did they do better this week? Did they do worse this week with Dynamite? What say you?
My problem with Dynamite sometimes is that they cram so much in a 2-hour period. It's hard to keep up with all of it. And you get some quality matches and the other stuff. I'm like, why? For me, and this has been a little while, it felt very balanced. I think it did improve to a degree because they are pushing forward a continued narrative. There was good balance in match times. They spread out some more of the women's segments. I felt the women's match got a good spot and a good time earlier in the show. And why the last bit of the show wasn't dedicated necessarily to a wrestling match, it was dedicated right now to the biggest thing going on, where there's power line AEW. This past Wednesday, to me, felt very organized, actually, versus just sprawl this on a piece of paper, and definitely left me, easier thinking into the coming week. So despite the direction that right now they're going with EVP Nonsense Takeover, I do think there was a better balance and construct with the flow of the show, despite the fact somebody does not know how to work a camera. Camera cut. Who made Kevin Dunn hack the damn show? Damn it!
I was going to say, to hire Kevin Dunn, it's a thing.
No, God, no. That will end AEW. Seizure alert. God, no. But yeah, I think this past Wednesday was one of their better balanced Dynamites because for me, what I like about Collision, there is more time to breathe in between matches with the backstage interview segments with Lexi there and the competitors. And I felt Dynamite took that same approach to a degree. So I think between the past Wednesday and this past Wednesday, it was an improvement.
Walter, what about you?
Yeah, I agree that it was balanced and it was an improvement, but I think they kind of forced to be different because even though it's a storyline in kayfabe, the EVPs are running it, so they have to prove that they run the show better than Tony Khan. So it's almost like they have to purposely do it differently so that it looks like someone else is running the show, even though we know who really is running it, but you have to make it look different because it's the EVPs running it. It's even to the point where they ran to like 10:20 or 10:15 or something on the East Coast. They purposely ran over. It was like weird, but they were like, we got money and we told the network we bought extra time or something for the story. And it was just weird timing. Like I feel like he said, they crammed too much into 2 hours and they had to go over. But at the same time, I feel like it was done on purpose to make it be like, look, it's a different regime. See, it's us running it now. It's the young something that rhymes with Bucks running it. So it's going to be different than how Tony runs it. So it's almost like they purposely had to do it, and it may work out for the better.
Yeah. I found it funny that it felt more jumbled. It seemed like they thought they had another 3-hour block like they had the week before because they did Dynamite Rampage back to back, and Rampage didn't start till 20 minutes after the hour. And it's like, are we doing that again? Does somebody want to tell TBS? Does somebody want to let us know what the hell's going on? Big G, what about you?
So lately for me, like AEW has been like hit or miss. Certain things are still catching my attention, and I feel like some things still need to be worked on. But I listened to Busted Open After Dark with Bully Ray, and I 100% agree with him. It pissed me off. Like when I watched the match between Trent and Orange Cassidy, when he got pile drove onto those stairs, he should have sold that shit. They should have stretched his ass out, and and then he gets the power driver on the stairs, and then I think Trent did the not the clothesline, but strung him up underneath the rope, underneath the ring, you know. And then he gets up and tries. I was like, I know kayfabe is dead, but at least try to sell the shit. You know?
Yeah,
And there's it's like certain things annoy me about AEW, and you know they have this plethora of talent, but like I feel like in the past couple of weeks with the EVPs, with the old farts, I don't know. Like I said, it's really hit or miss for me. And I don't know if it's just me missing Britt Baker. I know she's out with injury and she's been doing DDP yoga with DDP right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's just something about AEW that's like hit or miss for me right now. I'm still watching it. I'm still giving it a chance, but it's just hit or miss.
I think part of it is that they've lost the direction they had when they originally conceptualized Collision, because it was supposed to be a separation.
Yeah.
And before I elaborate, Walter, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, Tony purposely set out and said we won't make a lot of the same mistakes that WCW did, but with these no-sells and shit, they basically keep doing the Big Show coming off the roof and being on Nitro an hour at 30 minutes later, or being on the pay-per-view 30 minutes later thing over and over again. It's like Big Show came out of a monster truck, fell off the roof, and then he was in the ring like less than an hour later. This is basically what all this no-showing does, and it's like could you not? Like, we understand what wrestling is, but could you not like make it for the casual? That's why casual fans can't get into it, because us wrestling fans have to say, "Hey, you should watch it because of this," and we can't give these examples because you do shit like this.
Yeah, I have long been on the train of, we're not gonna make the same mistakes you did. You're making them, and you're making worse mistakes, Tony. Like, my goodness. I just saw a comment and it went away because I went into the other thing here. There we go. Dave says, holy shit, weren't expecting to see you guys to be on now. Have a great show. We did kind of advertise it, last minute last night after we did Dad's, because JJ and I both got off the air and went, oh shit. But yeah, we are doing Open Mind Happy Hour right now. That's happening right now. We'll get to their next topic here momentarily. We're going to go into a separate stream at the 9 p.m. Eastern hour for Resurgence, and then to finish up with our open mic night discussion and the heckling nonsense. But but my whole thing was it really feels like they've gotten away from the idea of separating the rosters and having distinct talent on each show. It very much feels like Nitro, Thunder, Saturday night now. Like, I can miss Rampage on Friday and not give a shit. Like, it doesn't matter to me at this point, which is why I think they're trying to partner it up with Collision to get more eyes on the prize. Yeah. But then, they do stuff like they did on Wednesday last week, where they had Rampage with Dynamite. I didn't see the rating number, but that 3 hours went by pretty quickly last week. I will give them that. So there was that. And you know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and bring this up because I do want to talk about it. And I've been told a little bit more than what has been, out there in TV land or internet land. Chuck Taylor's been wrestling a long time. Like, people don't realize how long Chucky Taylor's been around. Like, I remember watching him in the Armory days of PWG before they settled permanently in the Reseda Legion Hall. So he's been going for a minute. You figure the pre-Legion Hall days were like 2008 and before, right? So it's been a minute. So I don't know if it was so much Trent injuring Chuck. I think it may have been a case of he may have got dinged up accidentally on purpose, but it necessitated it. I think he was looking for the out anyway. So let me just be clear on that, because Chuck hasn't been on TV, doing anything of substance for a while. It's been Cassidy. It's been Rocky when he comes back. It's been Trent. So I wouldn't lay a whole lot of heap on Trent necessarily. I think that angle was just a means to an end for Chuck being able to step away.
Yeah.
Just trying to give a love to Trent Beretta, because I love Trent Beretta. So just wanted to throw that out there really quick before I did that. And then another comment came up that let's see. I'm concerned with all the injuries in wrestling suddenly between Julia, Hobbs, Trent, plus now Drew, Asuka, and Lashley.
Nature of the business, unfortunately.
Yeah, it does. It's the old phrase, it's not ballet, dude. Ballet dancers are crazy. Like they get more beat up than people believe. I like to say now, it's not table tennis. It's not ping pong. Like, you're gonna get hurt doing this, and even ping pong players ask. It's
sprained wrist.
Yeah, sprained wrist. It's not Pong. Any 90s kids? It's not tiddlywinks, folks. And even then, you get a freaking errant one in the eye. That's a whole other thing. So
that's just on a digital screen.
Right. Yeah, it's not Minesweeper, folks, and even then you can get carpal tunnel. Anyway. Yes, sir.
I would have said the other thing, what the other problem with Collision was, it was set up to be for CM Punk and be separate from him. And then when TK fired him, it's like they shot themselves in the foot. Now they don't know what to do with Collision. That's the problem.
Well, but to G's point, there's so much talent on this roster.
Exactly.
You can't tell me there's not enough room with 4, 5 hours of first run programming where they can't give everybody a little love. It's the same thing they did in WCW. Mm-hmm. Bischoff went out there and bullshitted about, I hired Bret Hart because I needed somebody to anchor Thunder. Thunder became a why the fuck am I watching this on Wednesdays show. That's what it was. Or Thursdays for a while too. So
Thunder was horrible.
Thunder should have been called Blunder. It would have made more sense because that would have been the reality of things. My God. And poor Saturday Night, man. That was the mothership, baby. That was the flagship for 25 years, if you will. And nobody gave a shit once Nitro started. Like, nobody even cared. And there were so many shows in syndication for WCW at that point, too. At least AEW doesn't have that problem where they're not, having shows that mean absolute nothing. But there are so many people on that AEW roster that could benefit from even a segment, on Rampage or Collision or whatever. They're just, it just really seems like to me, and I don't know if it's gotten Thunder bad yet. It's getting there. I don't think it's gotten quite there yet, but I will say that it really feels like if I miss Rampage or Collision, other than watching the match quality, which I know Noah watches for instead of the drama, which is fine. I don't discourage that, but if I miss Rampage or Collision, I don't feel like I'm going to miss anything that's going to be vital to the storylines going into the pay-per-views. Like, I'm good. Whereas if I miss a Raw or a SmackDown, either show that week, I'm going to be like trying to scramble to catch up, make sure I watch on demand on Hulu or whatever the case may be. If you don't have Hulu, then however you watch it. Same thing NXT. I got so behind on NXT, I had to like freaking power watch through before Stand Deliver, so I know what the hell was going on. Also, it went around in our chat, who watches Ring of Honor regular. It's like I had to pause my subscription because I just wasn't home. I wasn't able to get in front of the TV and watch Impact when it starts for us at 5:30 here on the West Coast. I wasn't able to, get in front of the TV and watch Ring of Honor really any time because there's been so much going on around here that I really feel like, as much as I was all for all this wrestling, there's so much wrestling now, it's great. It's like, man, I'm overwhelmed now. and Ring of Honor has 2 hours on their platform, but they're running the same problem because it's the same roster as AEW, and you're only getting a certain amount of people. WWE is doing it too. I'm not going to absolve them of responsibility for this either. They are still doing it now. You're getting a few more people, getting a little bit of a opportunity here. The King and Queen ring tournaments are definitely helpful for that because you're seeing at least whether they're actually going to win or not is silly because you're going to get the top stars winning these matches, but you're seeing a wider variety of people on Raw and SmackDown, whereas you're not getting that once you get past Dynamite. That's, I think, one of the core issues with AEW. And Dave, he says AEW has fumbled the ball way too many times to be trusted in capacity. I liken that argument to the television partners. If it was a lost cause, they would have pulled the plug.
Exactly.
And I'll further argue this because it's the truth. It seems to me that both the company and the TV partners want AEW to, succeed, survive, and hopefully one day again thrive. WCW was never built to be successful. It was one of those Turner liked the wrestling. It was a big ratings garner for him on his Superstation along with the Andy Griffith reruns. I want to make sure this shit doesn't die. Dude, it was bleeding. It was bleeding like at a needle point for, God, 7 years, almost 8 years before they turned to profit, and that was after Nitro launched and the NWO picked up that steam. But WCW was never a business model that was going to be successful because everybody in the company except the guy sitting in the big office at the top of the tower didn't want to keep it. They wanted nothing to do with it. Oh, it's wrestling. It's not the Braves. It's not the Hawks. It's not the Goodwill Games. It's not the Special Olympics. It's not anything we want to be associated with. We're too high. Dude, y'all live in Georgia. Fuck off with your highbrow. Like, shut up. Okay, seriously. You be number one in news, CNN. Good for you. But get over your crap. AEW, at least until they started having the curly-headed creative going out of control, had a good standing with their television partner. And again, based on what we've seen this week, looks a little shaky. But that's the way that I see it. Now, people have been asking, and they're going to ask me, and I'm sure throughout the night, how come James isn't here today? Well, we're going to answer that with a commercial right now, as we're going to take a long break in case anybody needs to go use the Tweety, or however you want to phrase it, because James is off today, still working on the documentary for his uncle, Gary Hebert. And where the is this trailer? Did it go away? Where the hell? We are alive, pals. Where the hell? There it is. Okay, cool. So, James is not here because he's putting the final touches on the documentary. So, we will not be seeing him at least this week, maybe even next week. But here's why. And then we'll be back to talk about the Forbidden Door news that came out this week regarding STARDOM, Noah. We'll be back after this.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Gary Hebert, the man, the myth, the legend. I was amazed, and I was looking to become a better skater myself, and I wanted to be like Gary.
When you look at a guy like this, he's one of the most talented people in his profession. He's been given gifts by God.
It can get frustrating at times when you're trying things that maybe don't come as quickly to you as other things. And, you never really felt that sense of frustration with Gary. It was always about improvement and positive reinforcement.
Was it really the end? Was that head injury really the end? God has called Gary to continue to be a blessing to others and to be a passionate example.
My name is Gary Hebert, and this is the World Academy of Hockey, otherwise known as the Inside Edge.
I would recommend anybody that have a chance to come to his hockey school. I think it'd be well worth it. It'd be rewarding to all the kids and anyone he coaches, from whether it's an adult, a professional player, to a little kid like a Mike or a Squirt.
Gary, from day one, has been instrumental to my hockey career. I started out as a potential Division III player, and Gary brought me single-handedly through high school and into a top Division I prospect. I owe it all to Gary, the biggest legend on and off ice there's ever been.
Listen, watch, learn, be confident, and have faith. Those are the answers I was brought to. Yet, I only now and really learning how truly important those 5 things are.
Through preparation, through appropriate thoughtfulness and thinking, we can learn to untie the typical knots between our ears that drive us into underachievement and underperformance. And lo and behold, we can learn, I think, to fulfill our God-given potential.
Gary has the innate ability to make people not only better players, but better people. The life lessons they learn from Gary are incredible.
I can always remember leaving that rink knowing as a player I got better or I had something to improve on to get better. And I think that's what you excelled on as a coach, is giving us the knowledge to know what we needed to do to get better.
There's coaches who know the game, but can you communicate and create passion in your kids and in your players? And Gary's able to do that.
Gary's got great knowledge and the great hands, but more importantly, his ability to connect with people and care for them. His communication skills, to me, really stand out and separate him, and that's why he's one of the best, in the world.
Gary's a legend. He's a special man.
And we're back. Just want to point out really quick, Connor Garland, who you saw toward the end of that trailer, is currently on the Vancouver Canucks. So he is still in contention to be a Stanley Cup champion this year. And they're playing Edmonton. So go Connor and go Canucks. Just petty as shit. Don't care because I can't stand the Oilers. And they beat us anyway, so pissed on them. All right. So we are going to wait just a couple more minutes because a certain moderator is rebooting the PC. He will be here momentarily. So let me go ahead and let's see what's in here that I can stall. You know what? I can run, not run, but I'm gonna do a little retro advertising. So if you guys missed last weekend's open mic night, last Saturday's open mic night, it was a game night for us here across the multiverse, and I can't encourage enough to go back and watch it. It was a lot of fun. We did, because it was May 4th, we actually didn't count a program against our flagship shit. We incorporated it, by God. And it was Star Wars trivia in the style of Jeopardy. We had a blast doing it. Everybody had fun in the chat room. Everybody had fun watching it. And open mic night got interesting, to say the very least, afterwards. Please go back and watch that in the archives. Prior to the Star Wars portion of our day, we had Walter and Noah and JJ talking about who they feel will be the next people to hold the individual top titles, for lack of a better term, within WWE, TNA, and AEW. And we also, yesterday, JJ and his father and I celebrated 60 years since the Beach Boys went to their first #1 with I Get Around. So definitely want to encourage you guys to go back and watch that. We had just over 2 hours. I only went over 2 because we couldn't stop promoting and jibber jabbering, as it were. So please go back and watch that from yesterday. It was a hell of a show. We enjoyed it thoroughly. But I did speak his name, and he is not Joe Hendry, but he did appear. Ladies and gentlemen, JJ is here, everybody. How you doing, boss? Nah, I feel you. Well, since you were here before the top of the second hour, we'll go ahead and get your thoughts then on this seemingly inevitable separation between Warner Brothers Discovery and AEW. But I presented it, as it happened. We talked about it in the first hour. Star Wars movies being run over instead of Collision during May 4th, and again, it's May 4th, so it's your tradition. The Max advertisement of Iron Claw being on SmackDown last night, and then the hockey thing I pointed out to you in private. I threw it out there on the air this week because they're counter programming against a religion in Canada. Like, that's stupid. But anyway, or counter booking, I should say.
Yeah, the Star Wars marathon, as far as I'm concerned, there's no excuse. I get it's May the 4th. I'm a Star Wars nerd myself. but you preempt the Star Wars marathon to run Collision.
Yeah.
And then you resume the Star Wars marathon the next day for Revenge of the Fifth.
Right.
And you cover what you didn't get through.
Seriously.
Like, it's not that difficult. If y'all can do 24 hours of a freaking Christmas Story, one of the lamest Christmas movies ever, over and over and over again.
The same movie. Same movie.
You telling me that you can't stop for 2 hours?
Yeah.
For Collision?
Yeah. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. When you figure at most the Star Wars movies are 2.5 hours. At most. And that's more toward the sequel trilogy, because Disney, can't help but freaking load their content, because God forbid.
Because Disney is Disney.
Yeah, I mean 2.5 times 9 is just over, right around 18. You can still squeeze in two hours of wrestling and still run all those movies. It ain't that serious.
No. And even if you factor in Rogue One and Solo, which I don't know if those were part of the marathon as well.
I don't know. Yeah.
They weren't.
No, they're not.
No, they weren't.
Just
Rogue
the main
One
9.
should be, damn it. Rogue One gets you from 3 to 4. Solo's pointless.
Dude, Rogue One literally has a transition scene from the end of that movie right into A New Hope. Like, you could, if you tie them together and just hack out a few minutes, you got a big ass epic movie there.
Mm-hmm.
This is off topic, but they could have waited for a Solo TV show on Disney Plus.
I have said that. Like, go ahead.
I was going to say the problem with Solo, and we addressed this on the Dad's Double Feature.
Yes.
Anybody other than Harrison Ford in the role wasn't going to do it.
Nope.
You could have made that movie about anybody else. Hell, you could have called the series Lando and nobody would have scoffed at it, because as great as Billy D is, he's a minor portion of 2 movies.
Yep. See,
and you could have had the Han character pop in to win the Millennium Falcon and just let it be that.
The way I would have done so, yeah. If you're going to insist on doing Solo the way they did it, have like a moment at the very beginning when, okay, this is a spoiler for The Force Awakens. It's been almost 10 years, but I'm still going to be a courteous guy because I'm just that nice a motherfucker. The moment Kylo shanks him, you have this life before your eyes moment, and that's how you get into the movie. That at least you got Harrison Ford in it. Like, if you're going to keep it the way it is, Disney, whatever. But at least have Harrison having that reflection, like, how did I get here? Oh.
Or even have him bookend the movie and have him be the narrator.
Right. Something.
Talking about his younger years.
Something where you get Harrison involved.
The real funky Star Wars dissolve, and now all of a sudden you're in a flashback movie.
Seriously, as he's walking on that platform,
isn't that what they did with the Indiana Jones adventures?
Yeah,
right.
Just saying. But anyways, so you had that. Then you had the King of the Ring match last night with Carmelo Hayes and Baron Corbin and everything, and the advertising everywhere during the match.
Right.
For Max. And granted, they were pushing the Iron Claw, but the Max logo was almost as prominent as the Prime logo on the ring throughout the entire match.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do wonder if Warner Brothers Discovery has kind of had their fill with the shenanigans. You know, why else would they be promoting a show on their streaming service on the #1 brand in the world instead of on Dynamite?
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Both those things happen in the span of an actual week, 7 days. The Star Wars preemption and the Max advertisement. That is indicative as hell to me. that they're looking to get out. Yes, sir.
It was like AEW just got shafted again by us about talking about Star Wars.
but no, it's like,
but it's part of the thing.
I know.
It was
conversation, and I know you guys did that for the first part of the hour, which is probably why Noah looks bored to tears here, because it's like, didn't we already discuss this shit? Didn't we roll a commercial so we could get into talking about Stardom and Forbidden Door and something I actually give two fucks about?
Well, I just want to make sure we allowed you to do your have your moment before you
appreciate that. I mean, I
know. It's okay.
I was so ready to give a diatribe about it, and I'm sure pretty much everything has already been said now. So let's go ahead.
Yes.
And let's transition. Let's do a Star Wars fade and move into the fact that it was announced this week. Noah, you paying attention? That Stardom is going to be a part of the Forbidden Door.
Yes.
And I gotta wonder. I have two trains of thought about this. Number one, and I hope I pronounce her name right, but this has to be leading towards Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa, right? With Mariah May as like the person they're fighting over. Where will Mariah May go?
Right.
Like, you almost got to figure that's got to be the match. Otherwise, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah.
No disrespect, I don't know anybody else from Stardom. I actually figured I would let Noah lead this part of the conversation.
Oh, there you go.
Out of everybody here, he's probably the only one that follows Stardom. That has to be what we're building towards, right, Noah? I mean, for their inclusion in this, is there anybody else in Stardom that you could legitimately see crossing over for a match, considering there's only 2 women's titles on Forbidden Door? Unless someone from Stardom is going to defend one of their titles on the show too. I don't know if Tony Khan's going to allow 3 women's matches on a pay-per-view. That's going to take away from, the other bullshit matches. But your thoughts, sir. You go ahead and kick this one off. Is Mina Shirakawa, and I assume you haven't corrected me, I assume I'm saying her name right.
Hi.
Where we're heading with this. And is there anybody else you can realistically see coming over, probably to face Mercedes, if we're being honest? Because as sad as it is to say, the clock's ticking on Willow's reign.
It's one of those things where, again, you look at AEW focus or you look at Stardom focus. It looks like this partnership really has just come to fruition recently with the dismissal of Rosie Ogawa from the promotion. Now they started Marigold. By the way, good stuff so far by them at Pro Wrestling Noah Wrestle Magic. I think you definitely have to hit the nail there, especially when they teased it at Dream Kingdom, where Toni Storm says the Forbidden Door is always open. And it doesn't necessarily seem to be about the title. It seems to be more about Mariah May. Again, Rose Gold, Clubbiness Forever, former Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Champions, her first teacher, who she did beat during the 5-star Grand Prix. The only other Stardom influence I could see involved is Micah, the World of Stardom champion, to your point, because there's one particular individual that she wants to face. And it all depends if she comes back medically cleared. I think it'd be an interesting change of pace, by the way, to keep her away from the AEW Women's World Championship. They don't want to go that direction. That's Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter, of course, who also has previous Stardom experience, came from Stardom in the first place. Former SWA Stardom Associate Champion. Unfortunately, the pandemic halted that title reign altogether, and we couldn't see what she was capable of during that time. Damn it. So, yeah, I think definitely Mina Shirakawa is first ballot, but I wouldn't mind seeing Micah. And then the only other one that comes to mind, based on the fact that A, she has history of her, B, they were previously involved in the most, I believe, strongest, profitable Stardom show in history last year, which was also their Dream Kingdom during the spring, is Mayu Iwatani, the Stardom icon herself, current IWGP Women's Champion. And I know that Maya wants to take that title further and global as well. I mean, we have seen the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship defended at the Forbidden Door, as we've seen along by Kazuchika Okada, Switchblade Jay White, and Adam Cole. Baby. So I would not rule out seeing more Stardom talent involved in this or one of their titles being defended. But besides that, looking at the Stardom landscape versus the AEW landscape and what they have been building, unless Mariah May has another Stardom match against, who could you put her up against at this point from Stardom? She just faced Mycera during the Ring of Honor kickoff show, or Momo Koko, excuse me. It's one of those things where I pretty much feel like Mina Shirakawa, Maika, and Mayu Iwatani are the first three names you could think of. Although I wouldn't mind seeing more of Asume after her incredible match with Toni Storm. But I do like the idea that Stardom's being involved here, and I hope it does concern around a championship. Now, whether or not they do a Women's World Championship or one of their championships, that remains to be seen. But it's nice to see more women's wrestling presented and represented on the Western Front from an international audience standpoint. And you don't get a stronger presence or showcase than Stardom. So, he went second. So, for those that are wondering, by the way, why we wait for him to toss the ball here, for those that don't know, hi, I'm Noah. I don't talk a lot about stuff because I'm antisocial introvert, but I love talking about showcasing passion and discussing and storytelling. Professional wrestling, damn it! And like
that's right.
And like that, who's named the marquee, I am one of the biggest advocates to women's wrestling. Respect the women for what they do in the ring athletically, while you admire their beauty. Just don't be one-sided, one-dimensional fuck up in humanity. But that's a whole different conversation. I'm sure we'll.
Yes, that'll be post Resurgence.
Look, you all can rant. I'll just do a Sermon on the Mount, or I'll just GTS. But that's a whole different conversation. Anyway, for those that don't know, Stardom is by the way, to the uneducated, and again, that's what we do here. We try and bring you in. We try and tell you everything. Stardom is an all-woman international Japanese professional wrestling promotion that's been in existence since 2010. Founded alongside Rossi Ogawa, who's been one of the longest bookers and producers of Stardom in its entirety existence, alongside the founder, formerly general manager of Stardom, Fuka. Fuka Kaimoto, by the way, is a previous Japanese retired professional wrestler, mixed martial artist. She was actually the ring announcer for a number of years for Stardom. It is one of the most prolific promotions that has given you names like Piper Niven, Kaylee Ray, Io Shirai, amongst others that have gone on to bigger things on a global standpoint after their time in Stardom. So if you want to check out more about Stardom, go check out their YouTube channel. It's in Japanese, but if you're a professional wrestling fan that's willing to educate yourself to see what they bring to the ring, then a language barrier shouldn't stop you.
Yeah, Stardom is the reason why we always refer to the Knockouts division as the #1 women's division in the States. Because arguably Stardom is the greatest women's promotion in the world. So.
Well, thank you for that explanation, Noah. I mean, I heard of Stardom, but I wasn't 100% sure.
No worries.
I've always thought of Stardom and really I can't say always, but ever since coming back and learning of Stardom, I've always thought of it as kind of like the sister promotion to New Japan.
Okay. Gotcha.
I don't know if that's an accurate description of it. Noah can clarify, but that's just kind of what I've always thought of. Is you got New Japan, which is the men's, and there's the couple of women's titles here, and then you got Stardom, that's like the sister company.
Then to your point, JJ, literal daughters of Stardom, like Io Shirai, have been endorsed by Antonio Inoki. So there is that connection there. And besides Wrestle Kingdom 17 and 16 under Tag Team, and I think 15 under a Dark Matter, Stardom has been involved in the New Japan Pro Wrestling system, at least in their ring. Just more prolific than ever now, which is beautiful to see.
Cool.
Interesting.
Jeff, what are your thoughts on Stardom being involved in Forbidden Door?
Well, first of all, I love that they had Rocky Romero kind of like officially announce it, because that was cool just to kind of get him involved in any way. Anytime they get Rocky Romero involved in anything, I'm happy. I love and miss that man on our in our local rings here on the regular. Is he on the card tonight?
I don't believe so.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I believe he promoted it with President Ace, aka Rush Tanahashi, who is on the card.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is.
So
It was. He is first match.
Okay, there you go. It's always cool to see Rocky. As far as the involvement, I think it's well overdue. And if you figure, you've got Forbidden Door is the battle between AEW and New Japan. So you got to figure you want to get as many champions involved in this, Stardom included, but you also want to get the IWGP Women's Champion. You want to get the IWGP, strong. Is it the TV Championship that Mercedes and Willow fought for?
NJPW Strong Women's Championship, held by Stephanie Vaquero, who will defend it tonight against Alex Windsor.
There you go. So yeah, you want to get at least those two on the card, if at all possible. You want to get as many championships into a brand versus brand scenario. That's why people were clamoring so hard for WWE versus WCW, and then we got WWF versus the Natural Born Thrillers and a couple of world champions. I mean, that's what we got in the invasion. Yeah. Unfortunately for the W, and I love being the Natural Born Thrillers. I am not shitting on them anymore because I already got my ass kicked once with that. So it's almost. Palumbo's brother is a big man too, just like Chuck is. Big guy. Sitting 3 rows in front of me. Don't crack on Chuck Palumbo around his family, man. You get your ass. Anyway. These shows are an opportunity to showcase the best of both the brands, which is what it should be. So I feel like having the women of Stardom involved is crucial because as you pointed out, Noah, confirmed, they are the sister promotion of New Japan. So as long as New Japan is going to continue to have them be that sister promotion and not focus entirely on a New Japan solely labeled women's division, get those girls on there, man, and get the women involved, get them over there and bring them over to this country or this continent and, let them show the folks in America what we can do. Hell, we talk about the fans in France showing us North American audiences up. Let's have the Japanese performers, men and women, come over here and show why they are so venerated by the great and powerful NorCal nitwit. I agree with him in this case because those wrestlers are awesome. So bring them over here, wherever Forbidden Door is. I forgot already where it's going to be.
Long Island, New York.
There you go. You know what? Have everybody come over there.
Ryder, damn it. Long Island IZ on the Forbidden Door.
No. Zack Ryder's dead. Matt Cardona is now the guy, and Matt Cardona is still injured. You know that.
We have a perfectly valid, more recent scumbag than Matt Cardona to promote coming back to Long Island. What's none of that? He's our scumbag, by God. And once I get my T-shirt, I can confirm it on the air. Damn it.
Accurate.
If you're watching, I want my shit. Anyway, damn it. It's very likely going to be the Dynamite after Double or Nothing because that's at the Forum. So I'll probably just thank you, King Mike. King Mike's paying attention. Give the man the booby prize. Anyway, I don't know what that means on this show, but we're not quite in the after hours yet, so I don't know what that means. Anyway. I just went off the rails in a heartbeat. That's okay.
What else is new?
We're not even in the midnight hour yet. I just think it's very cool that there's going to be more showcasing. We talked about before you popped in, Jay, about we've got 5 hours of first run programming, and not near enough stars are getting showcased on AEW television. If they're going to co-promote a pay-per-view, you might as well get everybody from the best of both. Is the bottom line there.
Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms, and something needs to seriously be done there, but I don't know. I feel like we're starting to run into the same problem that we did before WWE did the draft back in 2002. 5 hours of TV, you're saying the same people on all 3 shows.
Yep. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah. Too many people sitting in catering.
Yeah. The thing is, and this is going to sound like I'm defending or advocating for the old man. I am not. But with him, with Vince McMahon no longer being the straw that stirs the drink, you've got a lot of people that have a voice in creative, which is as it should be, yes, to a certain extent. But then now you've got too many cooks in the kitchen and too many ingredients in the chili pot to work with. And that's on both companies, by the way. WWE's having the same thing right now. I was talking about that before you popped in, Jay. It's just, yes, you're going to see a lot more talent get time on TV, but you're not going to see that same talent win over the marquee talent when you've got a show coming up in Saudi Arabia, which they have to smooch the royal pooch here, if you will. They're not going to have random jabroni number 5 compete in the King of Ring tournament and go to the finals. It's just not going to happen. Or God forbid, anyway. So both companies have the same issue, which I think is a good reason why you include the women of Stardom, because you get more of a showcase and more to work with. And if you do it, like I said, and have it be champion versus champion, then you get literally the best of both companies. Toni Storm versus the women's champion, the IWGP women's champion. You get the TBS champion, which will likely be Mercedes, as we talked about, because, Vegas is happening. It's going to be a thing. Taking on their, whoever ends up coming out of tonight as the New Japan Strong Women's Champion. So a lot of things can be factored in here once we get out of tonight and out of Vegas.
Yeah.
As to who we see on June 30th in Long Island.
Yep.
And please let the MJF be among people we see, because damn it, that I know he's still having the surgery rehab and he's recovering, but that boy's face in Long Island will pop a number and will pop a crowd.
Accurate.
Hell, even if he's on a Titantron, it'll pop.
Yeah, even if they put him on the freaking video wall and just have the people go like something.
Say his name and have him appear.
Right.
The chance will break out at some random point. I just know someone's going to try and make a reference or show up at some Burberry something, and that's how you get the MJF present known. I just know something like that's going to happen. It has to.
Dude, I found out there's a Burberry store in our mall. I'm still gonna buy a scarf to get my with my MJF shirt once I get it. It's gonna be a thing.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but the way they've been trolling everybody, don't be surprised if the Elite come out with Burberry scarves and everything to troll the crowd.
Dude, if I'm on the air or in the director's chair, I will pop on screen and I will blow a gasket. It'll be a thing.
God. JJ, what are you trying to do here, JJ?
I'm just saying, Noah.
It is early, Williams. It's too early for the friggin' ginger snap.
Not a good idea.
Walter, it's on you, good sir. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm glad they include them, as long as they treat them with respect and as equals, and not just try to force them in that between 9 and 9:30 slot, and that's it. Like, if you're gonna showcase them, then I'm all for it. But I kind of saw this coming as somebody who, I went to big business in Boston, and there was some Stardom people on dark matches. I don't know if they were testing the market or they were there. A few of them were there. I sent you guys videos on the chat when I was there. There were some Stardom people there and testing it. I was asking Noah, who's this? Who's that? I was bothering Noah when I was at big business. But yeah. But as long as you showcase them the right way and treat them, don't make it maybe you do the whole first hour all women. Do something, make it special. Don't just toss them in that 9 to 9:30 slot and make it all 5-minute quick matches. Throw some stories in here, make us feel legit, make us want to subscribe to Stardom and go watch it. You got to make people want to want this more, and that's the whole point of Forbidden Doors. This is prove why you are interacting with another company and make us want it. That's all I ask. As long as you don't screw that up. Now, if you screw the pooch and treat it like Tony's treating other things, then I don't see the point of it.
Well, thankfully, pay-per-views, we don't got to worry about women pigeonholed in the same spot, and they actually get the time that they want. I can't say I've seen a bad women's match in AEW pay-per-view.
No, that's true. And we see where this story with Tony is going, so I see why they did this.
God, I hope they don't go there.
JJ, you realize what you can think.
TikTok, motherfuckers. talk.
Yeah, you realize what you speak and think out loud sometimes has an 8 out of 10 chance of actually coming true.
The fruition.
That's because of one of two reasons, Noah. Either reason number one, they watch our shit and steal my ideas. Or two, they're just completely fucking predictable.
Yes.
Or a mix of both.
Well, Jay, I simply encourage you to go back to yesterday's dads and paraphrase it. Don't worry, JJ. Everything gonna be all right.
We'll see.
Hopefully.
We'll see. They've got about 15 days
Yeah.
before I determine whether or
That's
not I'm
true.
going to keep going with AEW or not.
Well, I gotta say though, this pay-per-view so far is looking banging. I am loving this card.
It's only 15 days till Vegas. That means only 13 days till Disneyland. Woohoo!
All
Good. All the things. Same weekend. We're gonna die.
I'll survive.
No, I won't.
Before I throw to G, I do want to acknowledge Emmanuel's $2 super chat. Happy Mother's Day to everyone who celebrates, of course.
Yes.
All right, Big G, what are your thoughts on Stardom at Forbidden Door?
Oh, like Walter just said, make a believer out of me. You know, I've heard of Stardom. I've never really watched it, so make me intrigued. You know, sell me on it. You know, I mean, I've obviously been watching the AEW and the whole thing going on with Mariah May and what's her name, Micah.
Mina Shirakawa.
Oh, Mina! Oh my God! I'm like,
it's all right, Big G.
I'm just like Aaron Rift. I'm just butchering
you're thinking of Mikey Ito, and she's from Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. She has been involved a long damn time.
But I'm intrigued to see how it's gonna pan out. You know, I've watched the past 2 Forbidden Doors that they've had with AEW, and I thought, you know, they've done great with it. So I feel like. And also, I'm also a big fan of women's wrestling, so I feel like they need to showcase them more, and hopefully they'll get the proper time on the card to, especially the casual fans like me, you know, to sell us on. Okay, this is what Stardom's about, you know. So it'll be interesting to see where they go after Double or Nothing and tonight's show. So, because after tonight for New Japan, is there another show before Forbidden Door for New Japan, or is this the final show?
Dominion.
Okay.
Which Jeff and I actually called last year because they announced the G1 Climax field. So depending on when that is, Jeff, if we want to make that official again, because we're both crazy, I'm game.
It'll really depend on how Memorial Day weekend goes, because I have a feeling, like legitimately, I have a feeling that's going to burn me out between the retro watch-alongs that we're still trying to coordinate and people actually being there, and then the 2 watch-alongs plus me streaming Phantasmic plus probably something going on that Monday. So the first weekend in June is probably going to be one of those. Dylan's out of school and there's nothing booked yet. So we'll see.
Don't take yourself.
So from what I'm seeing from AEW, was Mariah and Mina, were they tag team partners in Stardom?
Correct. She was part of her faction, Club Venus, and during her Stardom excursion, over 99 matches, by the way, 1 year, her and Mina Shirakawa became tag team champions. And one of her last matches in Stardom was against Mina Shirakawa during their version of the G1 Climax, the 5-star Grand Prix, where Mariah May did win. So basically, Mina Shirakawa is Mariah May's senpai, her teacher.
Okay. Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
And that's why we are so glad that we have Noah on these panels to educate us about all the wrestling, all the professional wrestling. Damn it.
And also to that point, I mean, if you all watched our Ring of Honor watch-along during Supercard of Honor, you saw what Stardom was capable of when it comes to trios affairs, because that was one of the showcase matches of Stardom and one of the matches of the night. And Even James, he barely knows about STARDOM. Even he was surprised by what he saw and how I was able to kind of recall you all when it comes to what all 6 women bring in the interconnected history. Again, it's just one of those things you just gotta explore and see if it comes to your liking. So, Hoping the Forbidden Door brings, like you said, Big D, not only you but others into what international women's professional wrestling can bring on the Western Front.
Yeah.
Now, the real question I feel is the Forbidden Door. It was a cool gimmick for the first year. I'm not even going to try and front.
Right.
Despite the fact that we were very skeptical going in because there's a lot of NJPW contracted talent already on the AEW roster. There still is to a certain degree. You know, guys like John Moxley. You know, the Forbidden Door concept, has it run its course already with this being the 3rd consecutive year? I feel like doing it every year, it becomes less important.
I kind of
and granted they've added STARDOM this time, but if you're not constantly adding new promotions that you're letting through the Forbidden Door, why am I going to get vested every year? Is it truly going to be a Forbidden Door show until we get AEW and TNA, AEW and WWE? Heaven forbid.
That's a fever dream.
It is a fever dream. That is more realistic now that Vince isn't involved than it was when he was involved.
I agree.
But Tony Khan also needs to stop running his goddamn mouth
I don't know about
the
that.
way that he does on Twitter.
I don't follow that.
Because if I'm Triple H, if I'm Nick Khan, I'm not willing to work with this asshole if every time he takes to the social media, he's calling WWE the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling.
Harvey Weinstein?
Go look it up, Noah.
Just Google it, Noah.
Yeah.
I know you don't scroll, you don't click, you don't get involved with drama. Harvey Weinstein was one of the heads of Miramax, accused of some very naughty things, Vince McMahon-esque, if you will.
Ugh.
And hence the comparison.
If you Google Harvey Weinstein, turn your safe filter on. That's all I'm going to say.
Pass. Here's the difference between me and the rest of the world. I'm not curious, unlike all you motherfuckers.
Tony Khan inserts his foot in his mouth more than you do, Noah, with the super chat things.
This is accurate.
Okay, well maybe yeah,
Tony Khan, I'm gonna say it, and I don't care if I piss anyone off. Tony Khan has gotten to the level with social media that Donald Trump did. They just need to take his fucking shit away.
Check, please.
All hail King JJ. All hail King JJ.
No,
It's not me what I'm telling lies.
No, seriously.
Court yet? I mean,
No. You know what though? I am an agent of chaos, Jay. I want to have those two on open mic night just for the super chats.
Oh God, forbid.
Like seriously,
we're going.
Seriously, just put me here. Just here. Freaking put me here and put those two dipshits on either side of me and just watch the calamity ensue. Just throwing it out there.
Tony needs a JJ on his side. JJ's a moderator. He needs a moderator to eliminate what he does on Twitter. Moderate him.
No, both him and Tony need to have their thumbs and their tweeting fingers taped together and their vocal cords ripped out. Just shut the fuck up and stop typing.
They'll still find some sort of way to do it. Power of money.
That's
yeah, but to JJ's point, like
everybody's out.
How many times can you open the forbidden door before it ain't so forbidden anymore?
Well,
it just becomes a normal door.
This is the third show where it's been AEW versus New Japan. Been there, done that.
And I really didn't. The second last year's Forbidden Door didn't feel as special as the first one.
No.
No, that's it. Yeah, no, it didn't.
And I think that's why they opened the door to Stardom this time, was to try to get some of that buzz back.
Yeah.
But if I don't think that people, especially the casual fans, it's like Vince Russo always talks about, and most of the video bloggers that I watch, AEW has their niche crew. They have the people that are going to tune in every single week. They could put Will Ospreay in the middle of the ring taking a Triceratops style shit from Jurassic Park, and people are going to tune in and watch. And Meltzer's going to give it 6 stars. Because that's just the way he is. They're going to have those diehards. WWE has the same. They have their niche audience that tunes in every week. It does not matter.
Nope.
But the people that they're trying or should be trying to bring in, nobody cares about the Forbidden Door until it's a legitimate war type situation. Give me the system versus the elites.
Mm-hmm.
I will trust in the system on that one, please.
Give me Orange Cassidy versus Joe Hendry.
Okay.
I believe in that match. I believe in that match quality.
I would love that.
Give me First Class versus Top Flight.
Well, I know which one I'm definitely investing in.
But you see my point.
Yeah.
These are matches. Give me fucking Timeless Dana Brooke versus Timeless Tony Storm.
Oh, God. Why, JJ? Why?
Because I'm not the only one that's thinking these things, Noah.
Sure.
Of all people, though, you picked her over Giselle Shaw. Freaking.
They're the same gimmick.
God. One's more kick. No, I'm not going there.
The only difference is Timeless Tony is in black and white.
If you wanted to go there after New Japan Super Chat.
Why are you trying to unleash the dark side of me?
Because we're a little late for Star Wars, but
No, but I see JJ's point. I concur with him.
I
Give
feel
me
like
PCO versus Wardlow.
Wardlow's just a freak. He should be X Division champion. He's a guy that truly defies no limits. Freaking Hurricane Rana by this 6-foot, freaking 250-pound anomaly. Come on.
Or Hammerstone versus Wardlow.
Hammerstone, I'm okay with. I was going to say, what did that poor French Canadian old man ever do to you? Goodness gracious.
He's not going to die. He's not human.
Give me Speedball versus Pac.
Yes.
Oh
my God.
Take my money. I don't care where it goes.
This is the point I'm making. These are matches people actually would tune in and give a shit for. And the fact that you have Wednesday Dynamite live, and then you have Thursday Impact the next day, then you have Friday Rampage. Like, you could really be stacking these shows and the tapings and everything. There was already a working relationship for a time being between the two companies that went south. Now that D'Amour's not there, maybe they can try to work something back in.
That's fair. New management. That's fair.
It wasn't super chatted, Jay, but like, can we get like barbed wire around the people so they won't get hurt if Moxley and Callahan are turned loose against each other? Like, people are going to die.
These two crazy yahoos have been a tag team together. Are you kidding me?
What?
Yes, they're called the Switchblades.
Oh, dear Christ.
Yeah, they are. Even I knew that.
I'll be Googling that tonight. Good to know. That's frightening. Yeah, they team those two up.
Speaking of Switchblade, can we get Jay White and the Guns versus the ABC and pick a partner? Let's just get Trent 7 in there since we already booked Speedball in a singles match.
Kenta back. Kenta literally went into TNA alongside ABC to beat Time Machine.
There you go. Bullet Club. There you go. I'm here for it.
Well, that's
I think Noah will concur with me. This is a guy who doesn't watch outside of anything besides WWE and AEW. I thought that Bloodsport was more of a Forbidden Door than Forbidden Door was Forbidden Door.
Thank you.
It was this year. That's for damn sure.
It was like
Charlie Dempsey. What the fuck?
That me and Noah were going back and forth messaging each other. It was like,
yeah, we were.
Hell.
I felt pissed off. I couldn't call that shit because I had to freaking take care of some daggum stupid ass people that don't know how to remember a password for the freaking life. And here you guys are. By the way, go check out James and Walter in the archives. Call on
yes, please do that. Yes.
Call on freaking Shayna Baszler, Monty Slavin, Charlie Dempsey, Nick Nana, the people on my belly. The what?
Yeah.
It was an awesome kickoff to the live weekend for sure.
Like I was watching. I'm like, this is more of a Forbidden Door than Forbidden.
But I feel like that's what people really want.
Exactly.
You know, kind of like the I think it was AAA WCW when Worlds Collide back in the days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like Worlds Collide would be more appropriate because this is an annual thing, but WWE already own that name. Fuck. So, I mean, at this point, yeah, maybe Forbidden Door should be just every other thing because I do like the fact that this year this does include CMLL, allegedly, and STARDOM, especially, but it's still underneath the NJPW umbrella. So at the end of the day, it's still AEW and NJPW at the heart. It's almost like, you know, a battleground of sorts or battlefield, because again, battleground's owned by WWE. So it is one of those things, JJ, where I do understand your point, but business, spots, pushing money, IP, monthly pay-per-view cycle for whatever reason, it's just damn it.
I'll also point out as the sports guy, June 30th is, you know, for all intents and purposes, halfway through the year. So they should treat Forbidden Door like a business-wide all-star game.
Yeah.
Just get everybody up in that shit, man.
That's a fair. That's an interesting idea. I like that.
Halfway through the season. Yeah. There's no season in wrestling. We're halfway through the year. There's your season.
I mean, altogether shows on New Japan Pro Wrestling World and Wrestle Universe are literally defined by 8 different wrestling promotions coming together for a common cause where the funds go to support, you know, needs of others. I don't know if y'all saw the last show. You had Noah, you had DD Pro. Kanosuke Takeshita, for Pete's sake, was teaming alongside people from promotions like Noah and All Japan and New Japan. That's a real Forbidden Door because you have different promotions from all the territories coming together.
Yeah. You figure, you know, you're not getting a lot of that stateside, but I remember distinctly because it was talked about in his book, the weekend of WrestleMania 95. So that would WrestleMania 11, which we don't talk about that because that was the one in Hartford and no. There was I think it was like a 13 promotion card in Japan that weekend that Mick Foley was on. Almost got that thing shut down due to a fire chair because he's Cactus Jack and he's a certifiable maniac. But 13 promotions working together in 1995. And here we are now still talking about the show you just mentioned, Noah. These things are possible. And to JJ's point, with Vince McMahon no longer steering the ship, yes, it's going to be difficult as long as some promoters keep putting their foot in their mouth or other company owners keep having their heads up their ass. But you know, we got Bloodsport with Anthem running TNA, so there was that. So it is possible to have a show like this feel like it's something that I need to find a way to make sure I have my fill-in dollar amount here every June 30th, every halfway point of the year, whatever the case may be, because I need to see this shit go down. As it's booked right now, with it's just 2-3 companies if you count STARDOM, I'm kind of like, okay, let's see what happens. If I know the companies are all going to be involved, I'm not really going to care. The brands are going to sell the pay-per-view for me. Right now, I'm waiting on talent. And that's not how it should be for a Forbidden Door show.
No.
Like, I know I've gotten spoiled by streaming. WWE PLEs on Peacock.
Sure.
being logged into other people's accounts to watch AEW shows.
Why would you be saying that?
I'm just being
New
honest.
Japan.
I'm not throwing any particular person
no,
under
no,
the
no,
bus,
no.
but that we're in a streaming era. People do that shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would pay $100.
No,
for a 2-day card.
Yep.
For some all-star game type of shit like that. If we could get New Japan, AEW, CMLL, AAA, TNA, WWE, Ring of Honor, even bring some NXT talent into it.
Yeah.
Get STARDOM in there, I would pay $100 for a 2-day show.
Yep.
So that we could get like 20, 25 matches total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got to figure you're going to have a couple of battle royal type of matches so you can get a bunch of people involved. But you just, you got to have those interpromotional dream matches.
Yeah.
And then not only that, you all work together. Imagine after the pay-per-view, that's how you fix the draft. Imagine a handshake deal. Let me borrow this person for 3-4 months. Let me borrow that and then the draft is they're picking from each other's rosters after that.
Just like the old territory days used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody would come, they'd work the Von Erich territory for 3 to 6 months. Then they'd pack up and go work the Crockett territory for 3 to 6 months. Then they'd pick up and they'd go work the McMahon territory for 3 to 6 months.
Yep.
Then they'd pick up and go work the Gagne territory for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. So you do that. And you just draft people for a year deal. We get this person for a year.
Yep.
Oh my God. Yeah. And not only that, then you don't even have to use Raw and SmackDown. You get ESPN or some neutral channel to just air it like a real draft. Look, imagine the views on that, and then everybody gets it.
It's like a transfer portal.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe do it simulcast on the Peacock app and the Max app.
Yeah.
There you go.
That way, Warner Discovery and AEW and Peacock and WWE are getting traffic to their sites.
Yeah,
considering Max is already airing live sports now, right? NHL. Whoops.
Yeah.
Get Netflix in on the deal since WWE Raw's moving there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I might actually.
That's where you do the draft. Is you do it simulcast on those platforms. So if I don't have Max, but I've got Netflix, I can watch it there.
Yep.
And Netflix is doing a bunch of live stuff now too. So.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they have been.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, and if I see somebody go to AEW,
Tom Brady. Oh, sorry.
That may make me want to subscribe to the Max app.
Yep.
I mean, I might literally go back to Netflix if Monday Night Raw keeps going the direction it is. Because I'll be honest, that last Raw was one of the best Raws I've seen this era of 3 hours. That was incredible.
Raw, and what I saw of SmackDown definitely reinforced I have faith in WWE's TV future. AEW's TV future is warning them.
Well, you know, with Netflix, with Raw going to Netflix, they can definitely go back to TV 14. They can do whatever the hell they want on Netflix.
Pretty much, they could go to TVMA.
And honestly, I'm
not saying let's go that far, but they could go to a more adult level. Like, this is not your fucking say your prayers, take your vitamins, Fruity Pebble t-shirts. You can't see me era of wrestling anymore. Put the kids to bed. We're going to get bloody. We're going to get violent. We're going to say fuck, shit, bitch, cocksucker, motherfucker. And we're going to do it upright.
Especially with The Rock's potty mouth. You know The Rock's got a mouth on him. So
of course he does. And he's unrestricted. He's the one that said, fuck your script. Fuck that.
And there's, you know, I'm not trying to make fun of him directly, but Cena was one of the reasons why we went to PG. Was him and trying to rope the kids in.
The business is not just for
it just is what it is. I'm not trying to knock him.
He's right.
You know damn well, Jeff, I've softened on him in recent years.
Oh, I know.
Stop me when I'm telling lies.
He's not lying.
No, he's not lying.
And I hate to have that moment and then sidetrack, but we do have 15 minutes before we have to go live with our watch long coverage, and we did get a generous $10 super chat from Arlene with a question here. So I would like to address that to wrap up the show.
Yes.
She asked, do we like the fact that they're doing King and Queen of the Ring matches on super shows?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I don't. And I only say that because, number one, the matches they're having, I want to see these matches on TV because I'm not in these towns. Number one, these matches they're putting on these shows are banger potential. They're looking awesome. Number one. Number two, the reason they did the King of the Ring tournaments in the 80s and in 1991 at only house shows is because they were trying to boost a live audience in those markets. They don't have to do that anymore. WWE's at the point where they're selling out or getting near there every single time. So you want to give the market a rub, great. I don't discourage that because some of these smaller towns are not going to get this shit all the time. Fine. But don't put LA Knight's match on a super show. I want to see Shawn wrestle on television, goddammit.
I wanted to see Shayna wrestle.
Seriously, they have Shayna on NXT television, which is fine, great. But then they have her Queen of the Ring qualifying at the house show. It's like, okay, can we make up our minds on Shayna Baszler? Can we make a singular decision of what the fuck we're gonna do with this girl?
Nope.
No, they can't. They need to make her Queen of the Ring. To be honest,
I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
Yeah, I would love to make it happen. I just don't think it's realistic to think that way. A couple years ago, maybe it would have been okay, we can do something with this, but they've gone so far down the rabbit hole with her that it's a long climb down and an even longer climb back out.
I'm telling you right now, Queen of the Ring is coming from SmackDown.
Yep.
Tippy time.
It's the way they're building it. It's either going to be Tiffy or it's going to be Jade.
Yeah, I think you nail on the head there. I saw the SmackDown highlights, and I was like, okay, so JJ's right. Tiffy's in the thing. She's going to win it.
By the way, why are you booking Jade and Bianca at the same time? Like,
because it's teasing the ultimate.
I know. I'm just saying.
WrestleMania power encounter, long-term storytelling.
We're gonna get teased, but somebody's gonna interfere. One of them isn't gonna advance. Somebody's
that's
gonna
how
screw
you keep
it.
the special distance.
Yeah, I know.
Neither of these women right now, Bianca and Jade, are not going to beat each other one-on-one this soon. There's no way in hell that's happening.
I'm telling you right now, Tiffany Stratton is going to beat Bianca Belair.
Yep.
And then if they go with Jade,
and then you're going to get
Tiffany
Tiffany versus Jade in the finals on the SmackDown side.
Yeah, and if Jade wins the Queen of the Ring, having Bianca lose to whoever Jade beats, that'll be the start of the friction.
I don't think they're going to start friction that soon.
Well, no, okay. I'm not saying they're going to have the full blown breakup already, but there will be that little bit of okay. So I beat her, but you couldn't. All right.
But before this friction and you break them up, can we get a team name or something
No,
first?
no,
Can
no,
we do that?
Again, like I
he's
said,
not talking about breaking up, and I'm saying there's not even going to be friction. I think it's going to be one of those things where they'll have a moment backstage, and Jade will be like, "I got her for you."
And that's very possible, but I've always been in the opinion that unless people come in as a tag team, people are put together in a tag team in order to find a way to get them to break up and have a program. It's happening. I'm not saying do it tomorrow. I'm not saying do it on SmackDown this week or at the fuck's next. Not after King of the Ring. Clash of the Castle. But Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania next year. They can build this shit long. How long did it take the Rockers to actually freaking break up? Jesus Christ.
They never broke up. Marty Jannetty just jumped through a window.
He's a coward. He's a coward and a crazy person.
Why do we keep going on with this false narrative?
Because it's the truth. If Bobby Heenan said it, I believe it.
Damn weasel.
Hey, he's not a weasel.
But back to the question here. I am very Harvey Dent here.
Mm.
And I love that I can say that and everybody in the room gets it, except for maybe Noah.
That's the guy
But-
with the coin, right?
Yeah, Two-Faced.
He got it. All right, there we go.
I don't terribly mind it because, and especially for the SmackDown ones, because they've got less TV time to work with. The Raw ones, I don't really get. You've got 3 hours of fucking television. You can get all the matches on there.
Mm-hmm. Don't have Michael Cole talk about Becky Lynch's hat for 10 minutes, wasting my fucking time.
If I'm being 100%, I still haven't seen this week's Raw.
Wow.
You missed the banger.
I haven't seen this week's Raw. I haven't seen this week's TNA. And I haven't seen this week's NWA Power.
Okay.
But I also threw out there the fact that I wasn't doing my shows this week because of shit that was going on.
Exactly.
Which explains why I haven't seen those shows. So,
which is fine.
But the fact that I haven't seen Raw with all the tournament matches that occurred kind of says a lot. I think, like I said, I feel like the Raw ones could have happened. There's no reason to not do those on TV with 3 hours of television. You do some commercial, picture in pictures like you do on NXT. It's the same fucking channel, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
So if you can do it for one broadcast, you can do it for the other.
He's not wrong.
That way you can get those on TV and still get your commercial advertising in. And then you cut down on the bullshit backstage and in-ring segments for 1 week. Just one. Because next week, those 8 matches are going to turn down to 4. And it's a lot easier to get 4 on TV than it is 8.
Yep.
Then you can actually put some bullshit filler in there too. In a 3-hour broadcast.
Yep.
The SmackDown ones, like I said, I understand a little bit more. You've got less TV time. You're trying to get 8 matches into a 2-hour show. That's 15 minutes per match, no commercial breaks. That's a little bit more difficult. And then, like Jeff said, you've also got the draw to those shows now. Come to this show in Sheboygan. You're going to get to see a King of the Ring qualifier match.
Sheboygan. Yeah.
So I am not as upset about it as it seems like Jeff is. But I get it. Anybody else? Any opinion that you've got on it real quickly so that we can wrap up and go to the watch along? Yes, G, I see your hand.
Yeah. So just real quick. I mean, it does. I'm not really upset about it. I mean, besides the whole Shayna Baszler thing, but I mean, you still, yes, the king and the queen is your main focus of the pay-per-view, but you still got to integrate some of the other matches into the show, like the whole triple threat with Sami Zayn and with Becky and Liv happening, and then what's happening on the SmackDown side. So you can't have all the tournament matches, and I feel like, I guess they fell in a way that those weren't, people really wouldn't have focused on those matches. So that, all right, we'll put them on the house show. That way, people at the house shows who can't go to the live shows, they can get part of the King and the Queen tournament matches as well. So that's just my thought on that.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm with you, JJ. I'm kind of like either way. I get why they do it, but y'all know me with the King and the Queen of the Ring. I'm an advocate, but now that they added Queen, it's harder to do all in one night. But I'm an advocate of the tournament all in one night. So that's what sways me saying no. But I mean, it gets your house market up and allows you to make more money, and that way you got all these contracts that you're going to give up. You can offer bigger contracts by bringing in more money from the house show. So it's like, as a business standpoint, I get why they do it. As a fan, no, I'd rather see it all on TV where we can all enjoy it.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, any tournament should be TV focused only, because house shows are just that. It's just a showcase of, here's who's in the company. You get to watch them face up against this person for a longer duration of time, but the result means nothing, but have fun.
House shows, baby faces and heels don't even matter because they have fun there. It's not televised. Like,
Exactly.
It's different.
Real quick, the house shows that I've gone to, they have been real fun. Like, they do a lot more at house shows than they can do on TV. So,
I'm well aware. There's a reason why I used to go to the Black and Gold NXT tours between Ohio and Michigan, all three shows. And the only difference was 1 or 2 matches on the show. Still pretty much the same type of matches and the same people, but they're still a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this happy hour portion of Open Mic Night. Like Jeff threw up there on the screen a moment ago, we've got 98 people watching us right now. We've got almost 100 viewers, which is awesome. So we thank you all for joining us here today. Hopefully you guys will tune in for our coverage of New Japan Resurgence, which is coming up at the top of the hour here. So we will be pretty much signing out of here and starting that stream up and beginning all of that chaos.
The chaos.
Myself and Noah calling that action, I believe. So make sure you guys tune in to any of our channels for all of that stuff. And then once that is over, we will be back for regular Open Mic Night with our one topic that remains. Unless, of course, any super chatted topics come in. And we will be addressing the Sky Blue shenanigans. Hopefully everybody in the room will be back for that and that conversation. And until then, Jeff, are you ready to run the signature outro?
As we hit 100 viewers, I'm ready to go, boys. We'll see you. We'll see you in just a couple minutes for New Japan Wrestling and Resurgence. Have a good night, everybody. And
the Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
Good night, you guys. Appreciate you.